What are you guys doing down there? Come on, quit fooling around. Hey guys, my name is Zach Ferguson, and this channel is all about helping you guys reach your tricking goals. I may not be the best tricker, but hopefully my experience can help you guys become the best. This is a video all about fear. Specifically fear in tricking or acrobatics in general. In this video, I'm gonna go over what causes fear, whether fear is good or bad, and give you some tools to help you overcome your fear so that you can get that trick that you've been trying to land where the only obstacle is your own fear. So let's get started. All right, let's get right to it. So, what causes fear? Why are you afraid to flip over your head or do a specific trick that may not even have inversion in it? Well, frankly, it's your survival instinct. So for example, when I learned a backflip, I did not do any progressions like an idiot and just wanted to get a backflip because I didn't necessarily know that even back handspring was a progression for that. I just thought there were two separate moves that you could do kind of interchangeably, and technically that's the truth, but I teach people to do macaco, then back handspring, then backflip, because it teaches you the same body positions where you can do a back handspring and then you just do a back handspring at a 45-degree angle and tuck your feet and then you got a backflip. The way I learned was my brother and my friend Mike spotting me. One night we were out at Mike's house and it was dusk, getting darker as we went, so we kind of had a sense of urgency. I was spotting them in their backflips, and then when it was my turn, I didn't want to do it. I was like, no, it's okay, I'll do it another time. I'm kind of afraid of it, and then they were like, no, you're gonna do it, and they start grabbing me, and I was like, no, so I laid down on the ground. So they start kicking me on the ground until I got up and got spotted for a backflip. Sometimes you need extra motivation because it worked. I got up and I was like, okay, I'll try it out. I knew the steps. We had practiced it a bunch before and I got spotted by them. I swung my arms, I tucked really hard. I did parkour at the time a lot. I jumped around tons, so I was very well conditioned in my legs and my abs. I could do tuck jumps really high, so it was easy for me to actually backflip with a spot. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know how much of this is them. And we did it maybe 4 or 5 times, and then they kind of got bored and were like, okay, whatever. And then I just stood there and just did it again. Was just like, all right, I'm doing it. And I landed. And then they were like, wait, what? So out of the 3 of us, I was the first one to get my backflip, even though I was the one who was scared to do it in the first place and way too scared to even try it. But essentially, I had that feeling of safety and I felt really strong in the motion, and I felt that, yeah, I was doing this for the most part. So, I was spotting the ground and I could see, so I just went for it and tried it out. And I thought, worst case scenario, I'm gonna land on my knees because I know I'm jumping really hard right now. So I landed it, and then they were pissed and I was happy, and then I did it like 70 or 80 times that night, and I just started making fun of them, saying like, haha, I got it, oh, okay, come on guys, it's so easy. And then they were all salty, but they were the ones who made me do the backflip in the first place, so really, thanks guys. But because I did it so many times that night, when I woke up in the morning, I literally couldn't get out of bed because my abs were so sore. But it was so important for me to not lose my backflip because I did not want to go through that process again. I wanted to just have it, and I've never lost it. So for me, what was stopping me from doing my backflip was my survival instinct. Is that a good thing? Yes. Because if I just chucked it, I might have landed on my neck, I might have broken something, I might have not been able to walk for the rest of my life. So yes, be afraid and still be able to do your tricks, okay? It's not a one or the other. You need to have both. You need to be afraid, have a healthy fear, and still be able to overcome that fear through rational thought and other progressions. So the other main cause of fear with acrobatics or tricking, or really any sport, is the fear of injury. There's a difference between survival instinct and the fear of injury. There are certain movements where I absolutely know that I am not gonna fall on my head and I am not going to kill myself, but I still am afraid to do them because I'm afraid to get injured by that movement. And you can even break that down into smaller portions. So for example, I'm not afraid of getting injured because it's gonna hurt. I've hurt myself so many times. I've had so many bad sprains. but I've never broken a bone actually, at least to my knowledge. But I know the pain of injuring myself, and I'm not really afraid of that because it's happened so many times, and it's kind of just a, well, okay, I'm injured, guess I'm gonna stretch and play video games or work on more YouTube or work harder at my job or do the millions of other things that I like to do other than tricking. But the thing that actually scares me about doing the movements that are scary for me is fear of not being able to trick anymore or for a really long time. I want to continue to progress, I want to continue to get better and better and better, and if I'm injured, it's going to be really hard for me to do that. There's always other progressions you can do, like I can work on more breakdancing stuff if my ankles are injured and blah 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 blah, but I still want to be able to train those specific movements. So for example, I just commented on Adam Davenport's Webster Swing Webster, and I was saying that I was afraid to do that, but I've always wanted to do it, but the reason I'm afraid is knee death. I don't want to hyperextend my knee, because when I'm doing my Webster, if I don't land properly and I try to extend too early, then I'm going to hyperextend with a ton of force, and then I won't be able to train Websters or much of anything else after that. I've also been afraid of a lot of other front swing or forward moving progressions like that because of the same issue, like reversal I couldn't do for a long time because I was afraid that I was going to hyperextend my knee, and then I just got over the feeling through progressions. Aerial front swing rise, same thing. I mean, heck, even like hook kicking moves, sometimes I will pull my hook just because, oh, I don't want to land on my ankle weird on my right leg, but if I'm doing the technique properly, then the hook kick is going to pull me through it and I will land gracefully. But sometimes I can feel mid-trick, oh, I'm not going to do that right, so I just bail. It's important to know when to bail and when not to. What is rational fear and what is irrational fear? So again, is this fear of injury good or bad? Again, it's good. Fear is a good thing because it's your brain and your body's way of telling you, this is dangerous, are you sure you want to do that? And you have to override that with your brain to then continue with the movement. So let's talk about the process of overcoming your fear. This is just a process I've personally come up with to teach my students and teach myself tricks over the years of experience. This is not something that I necessarily learned from anyone, I just kind of made it up. It can be a different series of steps for you, but for me it goes as follows. First, identify the trick that you want to do. For example, I want to get a snapu swipe. I've done full snapu, I've done a lot of different snapu variations, but I don't have a snapu swipe itself yet. Step 2, identify the danger in the move. Okay, I'm doing a snapu swipe. Okay, I have a pretty strong side swipe. What's gonna stop me from doing a snapu? Okay, go back to step 1. Snapu swipe is a side swipe where I 360 and land again. So a side swipe gyro, but you should do it a little earlier than gyro. You don't wanna be upright all the way when you do it. Semantics. Either way, what could I get injured on? Mainly for me, it's ankles, and most people that I see, it's ankles or even heels, because what happens is people will go for a snapu swipe and rotate all the way, but not make the flip rotation, so they land flat on their back, and it's not even their back that hits as hard, it's their ankles that hit first, and their heels that hit first, and then they come down. And let me tell you, if you haven't tried this, cheat 720 twist and snapu swipe are like some of the hardest hitting heel tricks you can do. It hurts so bad. So for this trick, it's the fear of injury and actually the fear of pain on this one. This one hurts a lot. Most tricks I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll hurt myself, okay, whatever. But that fear of injury is going to cause me to hold back on the trick. So that is terrible. If you hold back on a trick, you're gonna freeze up mid-trick and not be able to do it, and that's gonna cause you to get injured more. So do not freeze up mid-trick. Please, for the love of please don't freeze up mid-trick. I recently had a student, Oliver, who just landed his back tuck. His back tuck is amazing. I promise you, what I'm showing you right now is his first back tuck. He did round off back tuck as the first thing. The way he got it was doing backflip on the trampoline, doing progressions at the gym with me. I went through round off and made his technique good on his round off, and then we did round off macaco and then turned that into round off back handspring. He wasn't afraid to go for back handspring because he had so much power in his round off that he just went for it, and I had mats, so even if he hit his head, it would kind of just skip across it and kind of hurt a little bit maybe, but it was relatively safe. And then I told him, when you're going for your back handspring now, all you gotta do is set up and tuck, and you'll know how to do it because you've done it so many times on the trampoline. And he was like, bet. And then he got it first try. And he's doing this on mats, a matted runway. So this actually kills his jump. So that means his force from his round off had to be really good, and his set and his tuck had to be really good to get it. So he got it first try. When we went to ground, however, he froze up midair, and he did an amazing job falling because he actually didn't injure himself. He did a perfect back break fall, a back like triangle break fall. He hit his head a little bit, but it was negligible. But it was fear that made him freeze up like that. He had it. He had it on a mat setup that is harder to do than the floor. The floor has springs underneath it. But because it was the floor now and it was real, he froze up midair. So that is what you want to avoid the most, because he could have gotten very injured if he didn't know how to fall properly. But he went for it again and landed it right away. So it wasn't a real biggie because he got up, tried again, landed it, and overcame his fear. Sorry, tangent again. Anyway, step 3 is identify the progressions that will make it easier for the move that you're trying to get. So back to snapu. If I want to get my snapu, what I need to work on currently, this is real life, this is like I don't have my snapu yet, I need to do my side swipe and make it a side swipe semi, because that is teaching my body to, 1, kick all the way through, and then turn my hips while still kicking a little bit and getting my chest up. If I just rip the twist, I may land it, but I'll have no control over the motion, and chances are I'm gonna slam my ankles, or I'm gonna under rotate the flip, but make it all the way around on the rotation and just slam on my knees. Both of those things aren't good. So what I'm gonna do is train it on the trampoline, which is a whole nother subject. We're gonna go over that in a little bit, and work on the side swipe semi, because that's gonna teach me all the correct motions, and I'm gonna land it over and over again, soft, and then I can do broken variations, and I can do front swing out of side swipe or side swipe mega, and like all kinds of really cool stuff that a side swipe semi can still teach me. But if I just continue with that goal and I get super, super, super good at side swipe semi, then all I have to do is half twist to get my snapu later on. The problem is lack of patience. If people, myself, anyone else training these movements, try to just rush it, then you may get injured because you're just not patient, and all you got to do is more and more reps of it until your brain and your body just get comfortable with the motion and you're not afraid anymore, and then you can just go boop and half twist and you've done the trick. But step 4 is visualizing. So you want to visualize not only yourself doing the trick, you want to imagine the recording of you doing the trick. So you want to see yourself, your own body doing it. What can help is recording yourself doing the side swipe or doing the side swipe semi, and then imagine yourself turning your hips all the way around. I don't know what kind of science or hoo-hoo woo-woo stuff, the reason why this happens, but I'm telling you it works. It's very helpful. The other visualization you want to do is visualizing in your body you doing it. Sometimes I'll have dreams of doing like 10 gainer switches, and then the next day I can do 3 or 4 because I visualized it in my brain, and my body and my mind wanted it so much that I was able to, process the technique in my literal dreams. So thinking of your own body doing it can help you a lot. Visualize, visualize. Step 6. Did I say 5 last time? I'm not gonna stop the recording. Hopefully I said 5 last time. Attempt the trick, even if it's mentally. So do a side swipe, but imagine you did a snapu. So you can do a side swipe, land, and then gyro it on the floor, just spin around. Or do a treble full like Towel says. You can like land your side swipe and then just keep your left leg off the ground and spin around at the end, and it'll feel just like you did a snapu, as long as you can control that motion and not just land on your right leg heavy. But honestly, if you're landing really heavy on your side swipe on your right leg, then you're not ready for a snapu. You're just not gonna have the time or power in the air to do it. And then if you have a strong side swipe semi, go for the snapu, see what happens. Step 7, assess and overcome. Did you land it? Did you not? What happened? Record yourself, see what you did with your technique. Record it in slow-mo so you can just scrub through every tiny, minute detail of what you did with your body. Did you not use your arms enough? Did you not get tight enough on the twist with your legs? Did you not kick hard enough? Did you not invert hard enough? Did you do a 540 gyro and just call it a snapu like a lot of people do? If you landed it, great success. Awesome, great job. Now your goal is to drill the ever-living crap out of it until you can't mess up. Because if you have the feeling and you're not getting injured and you're not exhausted, do it over and over again, and then your body is gonna feel, okay, it's safe to do a snappy swipe. It's not dangerous. We won't get injured every single time we attempt the trick. And if you didn't do it, go to step 8. Step 8 is go back to the progressions, so you just cycle through again, or find a different option. Find a trampoline to work on it. Find a foam pit, find mats that you can use from an elevated surface that is stable, or if you don't have equipment, then try to find a volleyball court with sand on it, or go to the beach and train stuff on the beach. What I used to do, specifically because I didn't have any gym at all, I would go to the beach and I would go from the top of a small dune, not like one that I wasn't allowed to go on, and what I do is walk out on the beach with a piece of plywood, and then I'd put it down and do a round off onto that piece of plywood so it's firm, and then go down the 2 foot, 3 foot ledge and try double fulls. So that way if I ate it, I know at least I was landing on the really soft sand at the bottom. You gotta do what you gotta do if you wanna get your tricks. And then I also used the other method that I was talking about. I did the half twist. So I really wanted double full, but I did not have a gym. My town had one gym and they were like, yeah, women and children only. There's a boys program, but like you're a 16-year-old and I don't know, you're gonna have to wear tights and that'll distract the girls. So I'm not sure, like, what? And then the only other gyms were literally an hour north of me and I didn't want to drive that far, so I just went to the beach. Or I trained it in grass. My first double full was actually on mulch at a playground because that's what I had to train on. But the way I got there was I did full twist and I tried to set it higher and higher and higher so I could round off full really easy. Then I set really high with my round off full and got to a 540 full. So I did my round off full really high, spotted the ground, turned my hips, so then I could do a 540 full all the time and I could just walk out of it. And this process took weeks. I just did it every day for weeks and my brain started getting comfortable with it and just saying like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. You kind of have to force your brain into being like, all right, I'm gonna do this motion because he keeps making me do it. And then your brain will literally create pathways, shortcuts in your neurons that will help you do something faster. This is called muscle memory. It's actually happening in your brain, not in your muscles, but that's muscle memory. It's that you are kind of forging a path through your brain from neuron to neuron so that things click faster. The way I like to think of it is like video games. You can press, X, circle, triangle, double trigger, throw your controller 360, catch it, shake it twice.
Throw the controller 2 times?
Press X again, and then R3 7 times, and then that's the combo. Or you could do that combo so many times that it's muscle memory, and then your brain maps it to the X button. So I'm gonna do round off with my left trigger and hit the X, and I did round off full and a half. And then once I had that down and I was essentially mapped to the X button with a 540 full, I just had to do a high 540 full, spot the ground, half twist with my hips, bam, I had double full. And that is literally how I learned double full. So for you guys with a gym or a trampoline, count your blessings. Not everyone is rich or fortunate enough to have the training equipment to learn things, but they still learn things. So check your privilege and use the tools that you have, but appreciate those tools. Don't be like, my springs aren't as springy as the one at the G-Tramp Festival. Mom, you need to give me a better trampoline. I'm like, can you? I'll take it. I'll take your trampoline off your hands for you. But luckily I have an amazing wife who bought me a trampoline for a Father's Day gift. So now I get to drill things on the trampoline. So most of those tips were mental. Now I'm gonna give you some actual physical, tangible things that you can do with your body to rep out so that you can not be afraid of these movements anymore. Essentially, all of these are just going to fall into the category of air awareness. You need to get really good air awareness. You need to know where you are in the air. Even if your eyes are closed, you should be able to know where you are in the air. But don't close your eyes. So my first tip for you is to learn how to fall. I'm gonna make an entire video on falling, but I'll go over it really quick right now. So whenever you're falling or doing any kind of bail at all, you want to protect one thing. What is that thing? Correct, Billy, your head. You want to protect your head because your head has all your gushy brain material in it and it connects to your spinal cord, which controls the rest of the body. So your first priority is to protect your head above all else. So there are 3 different break falls that you can do to stop yourself from hitting your head. A front break fall, which looks like this. You fall forward, you make sure that you don't hit your joints, you hit on the soft tissue pathways in your forearm on the ground, you stick your butt up and you keep your legs relatively straight so that you land on the balls of your feet and your forearms and you stay rigid. This is only really helpful for times when you have almost no momentum and you're just falling straight down towards your face and you cannot roll. A side break fall, which Brendan Morrison does a lot, but I kind of do a little differently. His is kind of a wushu break fall. I actually learned mine from Aikido. But either way, side break falls can help you a lot. And also, they kind of look dope, especially when Brendan does them. And a back break fall that you guys saw earlier with Oliver's backflip. You jump up, set like you're gonna do a backflip, you put your hands out to the side, you get your legs up high, and then you wanna land right on your shoulder blades. So make sure your chin is tucked very tight, and you land like this. You have a relatively wide base, not too wide, not too narrow, and you only hit your shoulder blades, so it's just kind of like a little triangular base that you land on. Again, this should only happen if you can't flip all the way or you can't roll. The next thing that I'd recommend learning is rolling. For some reason, I don't see trickers talk about this a lot, but I also do parkour and freerunning, and we work on rolls a ton, and I cannot tell you how many times rolls have saved me from smashing my face or smashing my ankles or hurting myself in some way. So learn your roll, specifically your shoulder roll, because that goes from your shoulder down to your hip, and it helps you learn full twists and stuff, but also it stops you from ever hitting your head on the ground. So if you have a good dive roll and a good shoulder roll, then you can be halfway in the air and then just bail with a roll, so you're not afraid and you don't like freeze up and just slam on the ground. That's the suckiest. That hurts so much when you do that. If I'm doing something like, say, a cart front and I'm bailing it and I'm not flipping too far, then I'll just put my hands down and roll. If you're flipping too far, what you want to be able to do is see where you're going and then just tuck it out and land, because it's better than landing in the middle. If you can't land your roll, then flip all the way to your feet and then roll after you land on your feet. Again, I will also go over rolls in depth because I think it's an extremely important thing, but learn to roll. And the last physical tip that you can apply to overcome your fear is spotting. I talk about this in pretty much all of my tutorials, but if you can spot the ground or spot your target when you're doing a flip or a kick, respectively, then you have air awareness. You know where you are in the air, and you shouldn't be afraid because your eyes will tell your feet where to go. Wherever you're looking, if you're doing a jump in parkour, if you look away from it, you're gonna eat it, bro. Look at where you wanna land and precision the obstacle. With a kick, it's the same thing. Just look at it, kick at it. With a landing, it's just the same thing. You look at what you want to land on and then you put your feet there. It's a simple concept, but it's something that people do not do a lot. I see so many people that don't spot. They're literally twisting with their eyes closed and then they're like, well, I don't know why I can't land this trick, dude. So this is trick specific, so I can't give you a specific place to look right now, but my personal rule is if you are flipping or twisting, spot the ground so that you can spot your landing, unless you are kicking, because that supersedes the flipping. So even if you're flipping, but you're doing a kick that is supposed to hit a target, then look at that target and then spot your landing, if you even need to spot your landing. Because if you practice the progressions up to that point with the kick, then you will just land like that progression. And then if you're doing a flip, you can just spot your landing, and then that way you can see for a long time that you're gonna land, and you can decide to pull your head away and land standing up and make it look real casual, like you meant to do it the whole time. So I went over this in my cart full tutorial, but you can do things like cartwheel to dive roll. That's gonna build your air awareness like crazy, because you can do like cartwheel and then a really far dive roll, spot the ground, and then roll, and even like do a round kick at the end of your roll, and you're training for cart full round, even though you don't realize it that much. You can also literally just roll on the floor and practice your tricks. So you can do like, I'm gonna do a double B twist jackknife, but it's just a roll. But every single flip or twist is a roll, just in the air. So it's all about how you think about it. And if you have a trampoline, there are so many air awareness drills that you can do. It's all about spotting different things, learning to land on your back, doing those silly back bounce cat twists. You can learn to like Cody and do all those different trampoline tricks. They're not detrimental. I see a lot of trickers that hate on G-trampers, and I personally don't like that they land tricks on different places, but I mean, I don't care, it's their tricks, they can do whatever they want. But you won't find many other people with better air awareness than G-trampers, because they are flipping so many times and twisting jumping so many times over their head that they need to know where they are in the air so they can decide to tuck or twist or bail out of the movement. So you can do tons of drills on your trampoline, practice double fulls, practice all your progressions on the trampoline, and be able to master your movement on the ground because you've done it so many times on a bouncy, safer surface. I always start these videos and be like, yeah, this is gonna be like 7 minutes max, and here I am sitting at 55:49. So it's gonna be hard to edit this video down. But again, I just wanna give you guys as much information as possible so that you actually come away with something from the video. I could talk so much more about this, but I think I should end it here. Was this fear-based discussion helpful for you? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Please like the video if it was helpful for you, and subscribe to my channel so that you can help me on my quest to 1,000 subs. And until next time, happy Halloween. Yeah, of course. No, they just think there's no such thing as the tricking Illuminati. I know. They think that's just a joke. I'm not exposing you. Don't worry about that. It's not. What? No, turn that.